Well, hello there, Dippers, and welcome back to Game 24 of the Ducks on the Pond podcast, the official baseball podcast of Sauce on the Side. As always, I'm your host, Drake, joined by the man, the producer, Leighton Pip Shaventone.
Joe West, just retired already. 41 years is long enough.
But the game is all about him. And joining us today, guest host, Lex Glasgow.
Leighton's cat just talked to us before we started this.
That is true. That was probably the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm almost positive that the cat actually said Leighton.
I think it did say Leighton.
Yeah, it was a weird thing, and then it puked out. It's demonic.
Yeah,
For those of you that don't know, Leighton has two cats, both of them named Big Poppy and Manning.
Yeah, and these cats, I was sitting here, and I hear what I thought he said Leighton, and we all stopped and looked at each other, and we all thought that the other one had said something, and we're all sitting here did not speak, and then it happened again, and then again, and we look back, and it's only the cat that could have been responsible for this. It was the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
And then it immediately went and puked in the corner. It's trying to get the demons out.
It's getting the demons out, and I'm about to run out of the house as soon as we're done here.
Yeah, I would not have been surprised if the cat's head started spinning, and it was like an Exorcist scene.
Yeah.
It was some odd stuff. But we'll get to today's show. Guys, we have an excellent show for you. We've actually had more trades even after the deadline, which, baseball, go figure. We're going to talk about an index card being confiscated on the mound. We're going to break down your NL Cy Young race. Our boy Ohtani is heading back to the mound today, and we have some fallacies for you today. But before we get to any of this, Leighton C., you know what to do. All right, guys, so the MLB 15th trade deadline has passed, and we have some, familiar faces in new places. Josh Donaldson is officially an Indian. Andrew McCutchen is a Yankee. Curtis Granderson is now a Brewer, and David Freese is a Dodger. Guys, what do we think about these trades?
The Josh Donaldson trade, he's been hurt basically for the past 2 years. But in 2017, when he went for 113 games, he had 33 home runs, 7 RBIs. And this season, 36, he had 5 home runs. So he started home runs if he's healthy, I guess. And I'm talking about how I hate playing the Indians. I don't like this trade at all, because I don't want to see the Indians again in postseason.
I think Donaldson, if he comes back healthy, is a good trade. I think the smoothest transition of all these trades is Andrew McCutchen going to the Yankees. I think he's the one that comes and makes the most immediate impact, especially with Judge being out. And he's got he might not be as good of a hitter as he is, but he's still a great defender.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like it because I don't really like the Yankees, and I think I've said that time and time again. But Andrew McCutchen, obviously going to the Yankees, is huge, and I think that this is the first time in quite some time that there's actually been outfielders that are both former Cy Young or both former MVP winners. First time since Ichiro and Ken Griffey Jr. that both are patrolling the outfield. So, I mean, obviously he's not the MVP caliber player that we had seen in the past, but Andrew McCutchen is still really good. And whenever Judge comes back, this offense that's kind of sputtered along since Judge has been out, now you're adding in Andrew McCutchen, and you're going to be getting Judge back. This is kind of scary for all the teams in the AL. If this pitching can be even serviceable in the postseason, I think this is going to be a team that definitely you're going to have to look out for in the AL.
Yeah, I think the Yankees really were good. Now they just keep getting richer. McCutchen, if Judge comes back, McCutchen will outplay every day. But guarantee McCutchen has one humongous bat at October. He'll hit a walk-off home run or something. He'll pinch it for fucking 9 hitters. Some shit. He'll hit a walk-off home run.
I think McCutchen, honestly, it's kind of like you put a old dog in with a bunch of new dogs. He gets new energy again. I think you can kind of see, you might see that with McCutchen here. You know, he hasn't hit the ball very well this year, but he's still getting on base at close to a 350 clip. I think you throw him in there with a young lineup, everybody can hit, and he gets on base. I think he might even turn into a little spark plug for the Yankees there.
Yeah, I mean, you see it time and time again, like former guys who are dominant in the MLB, they get into a young ball club, and then all of a sudden, they kick it back a few years. I mean, Cole Hamels, Justin Verlander, two guys that come to my memory immediately. And I feel like Andrew McCutchen's that kind of guy. Like, we've seen great performances out of this guy, even season-long performances, obviously to win an MVP, I think he's going to kick the clock back a little bit, and it's going to make this team extremely deadly. So out of all these teams that actually made moves, which team that didn't make a move probably should have?
Before we get to that, how about the Brewers really just not getting a pitcher?
They did add Gio Gonzalez.
They did get
They did
Gio Gonzalez.
Okay.
But I mean, how good is Gio Gonzalez?
Like 4 point. Like he used to be really good, but I don't think he's good anymore.
I don't think he's that good anymore. The only thing I could see is it gives him another lefty, which you might throw in there.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it like an old dog coming back with his old tricks. Do you think that this could be the type of scenario where we see Gio Gonzalez maybe being the guy that they roll out there in the one-game playoff?
He might be able to. I mean, he could be that guy. He might be able to string together 2 or 3 good starts for him, late September and October. But I mean, Gio Gonzalez isn't a guy you get to really bolster anything down. Like I don't know. Do you trust Gio Gonzalez in a one-game playoff?
Absolutely not. But I don't trust anybody else on the Brewers staff winning a one-game playoff either.
So Sheen, you don't trust Sheen?
No, even though I mean he has an awesome record. I think the last time I checked, he was like 13-3 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he's been in a lot of games.
But it kind of reminds me of the Rick Porcello year, where Rick Porcello was winning all these games, but I just didn't really know how good of a pitcher he actually was.
Yeah, but no, team the Red Sox, we need a bullpen. Our bullpen's a fucking dumpster fire. You know, if our starter can't go 7 innings, 6 and 2/3 7 innings, we're toast. Because our bullpen can't hold a lead or protect the deficit.
Yeah, do you see maybe in the postseason that they, we look at the Dodgers, and the Dodgers bullpen is very comparable, in my opinion, to the Red Sox, where there's really nobody there except for Kenley Jansen, but Kenley Jansen's been struggling mightily. They at least have Kimbrel to rely on. Do you see them taking one of their starters and moving him into the bullpen just like the Dodgers did with Maeda?
Actually, yeah, I thought of this last night a little bit. David Price, he got hit on that comeback pitch in the wrist. He's not going to make it next start. If he has to be after a period of time, we'll throw him in the bullpen, and then we'll go a 4-man rotation of Celio, Valdi, Rodriguez, and Porcello, and just use David Price for long relief. Which I'm fine with doing. David Price was awesome in the bullpen last postseason, but it just sucks because it's David Price paying $30 million.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Money aside, it just sucks.
Yeah, money aside, it does suck, especially because, Price has had some of those just awesome outings this year. So it would be a bummer to miss out in the postseason. But, I mean, teams really don't even go with 5 guys wide with a rotation anymore in the postseason. So I would not be surprised at all if they do move Price into the bullpen. I think that'd be a smart move. I mean, Maeda's been doing really well out of the pen for the Dodgers, so I don't see why that same transition wouldn't be able to help the Red Sox.
I still think the Dodgers should have went out and added another bullpen arm. Instead they went the opposite route and added David Freese.
Yeah. Dude, that reminds me so much of basically what the Brewers have been doing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we have this obvious hole on our team, so let's just get another bat.
Yeah, I just think the Dodgers, they needed a bullpen arm because when I watched them play the Cardinals last week, it was just... Starting pitching was okay, but when they got to the bullpen, it was just, like it has been in the years past, just complete collapse.
Yeah, and to talk about the bullpen pitches, past couple seasons we've seen that the key to winning in October is a good bullpen.
Yes.
We haven't seen really any of the playoff teams go out and get a great bullpen on. Like, they all kind of have bullpen worries, except for the Diamondbacks and Astros, but for a long time.
Athletics have the best pen out of the whole MLB.
Yeah, but like a majority of the teams in the playoffs right now just have okay bullpens, and they can't get anybody.
No, I really like how the A's have kind of set themselves up for success with so many guys in the pen. I mean, any of these guys, they have probably 4 guys that could go into another ball club and immediately be a guy that a team is going to lean on in the postseason. And I really think that the Athletics have kind of set themselves up for success if they're able to get 5 innings out of, a Trevor Cahill or... any of the, I mean, their starting rotation is not good at all, but, Brett Anderson's been pitching above his head, Edwin Jackson's been pitching above his head, Trevor Cahill's been pitching above his head. I know Anderson's on the DL for a short period of time, but if those guys can give them 5 innings in the postseason, they're going to win games. And nobody else is really following that formula except maybe the Indians.
Yeah.
I just can't buy into the Athletics because of the starting pitching. If They could win a 1-game series or a 1-game playoff. They might even win a 5-game series. But if you have to rely on a bullpen from the 5th inning on for a 7-game series, you're not going to win that regardless.
No, I agree with you there. I think that their max would be winning a 5-game set, but I don't think that they could go into a 7-game set
go
relying on that.
Staff for an entire championship series and expect to win. No chance.
No, I agree with that, actually. So we had a really odd occurrence this week. Phillies pitcher Austin Davis had an index card confiscated by Joe West. Joe West said he actually almost threw him out of the game. Typical Joe West thing, making the game about him and not about the players. Phillies said that they've been doing this basically all season. I guess they consider it a foreign substance. What do you guys think about that?
Well, the rule says that a player can't have or in the possession of a foreign substance or anything that's not a general uniform thing. And I guess Joe West decided that night he didn't have an index card in the mound. And I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about it because it's not that different from like outfielder having an outfield card for the shift and stuff.
No, absolutely not.
I feel like it's not cheating. It's just kind of you didn't do your homework, so you have a cheat sheet on your leg or something. Same deal.
The MLB actually has an MLB umpire physical fitness test. I don't think Joe West has taken that test in the past 20 years.
What that test entail, Lex?
Oh.
You have to squat down on a knee for 20 minutes. You have to be able to run from first to home and call a guy out, and that's about it.
If you just step out of the way of incoming.
You gotta be able to walk out to the mound and say, "Hey, that index card is mine. I need it."
I feel like they're
walk 20 feet without passing out.
I can't see the bottom half of the strike zone anymore. So you know what?
I feel like all they have to do is just turn around, point, fair or foul, and then the second part of the test, they actually just have to squat behind home plate without a catcher there and just take Aroldis Chapman fastballs for 2 minutes.
It's basically Happy Gilmore.
That would be awesome.
When they get in the cage, that's what the umpires have to do. They gotta get in the cage like the guy did in Happy Gilmore, and just take them fastballs to the head. Yep. Joe West, you suck. Get the fuck out of baseball.
Yeah, no, Joe West he's a different guy. He's basically Jim Joyce without the sweet facial hair.
Yeah, I don't know. Joe West it's been 41 good years, buddy. Just take a seat.
Good years?
Good.
41.
Emphasis on the good, Leighton.
It's been 41 years.
41 years?
Go ahead.
I wouldn't say good.
Do you guys agree? If you know an umpire's name, it's probably not for a good reason.
No, crap.
Jim Joyce, Joe West.
Who was the guy who threw out Tim Duncan? Duncan sitting on the bench?
Oh, I cannot remember.
Bald guy.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He's the one that kissed Charles Barkley.
Crawford.
Yeah, Joey Crawford.
Crawford, there you go. Yeah, so you know his name? Why? Tim Duncan took it on the bench.
These guys crack me up. Referees, umpires. If we know your name, you are doing something wrong. So we'll talk a little bit about the NL Cy Young race. In most respects, it's basically a 3-horse race at this point. You have Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, Aaron Nola, all three having phenomenal seasons. Everybody kind of has their flaws, though. Who do you guys see being the lead dog for the Cy Young race?
I'm actually going to side with Max Scherzer because he won the Cy Young last year, and his stats going into this year are better than what they were last year, and he ran away with the Cy Young last year. So far in the season, he's got a 2.22 ERA. He's 16-6 overall. He's got 249 Ks, has a .88 WHIP. He's got one complete game, which that's not really too much, but he's got a 6.6 WAR, which WAR is the dumbest stat in my opinion. But if you look at his stats based on the last 2 Cy Youngs that he's won, he's actually gotten even better and stronger. And
you can't really get much better than a .88 WHIP.
Yeah, exactly. But he's gotten better, which is kind of mind-blowing. The Nationals, they're a dumpster fire right now, which that might be the only thing hanging them back. But if you look at the Mets, too, the Mets are kind of a dumpster fire as well.
Yeah.
I've been on Jacob deGrom since almost immediately out of the gates this season. He has been phenomenal. I mean, pitched 27 games, only has 8 wins to show for it, though. He's 8-8, 1.68 ERA, which is the best in the MLB. And his WHIP, it's a little worse than Max Scherzer, but it's still great. 0.978, really not that far off of Scherzer, and 224 strikeouts. So, and this guy, he's a guy who had a losing record up until like a couple weeks ago, and it's pathetic. I feel like wins and losses shouldn't be totaled whenever you're looking at this kind of thing. Whenever I say that guys have their disadvantages to winning this award, Jacob deGrom, the only thing that you can really point at is that he's a .500 pitcher. And I was watching a game that has basically summed up Jacob deGrom's season this past, I think it was either this past week or the week prior. He was pitching against the Giants, and as soon as the Giants scored a run, he was on the mound going bananas, just because he knew that in order to pick up a win in this game, he couldn't give up a run because his team's not going to score. And it is unbelievable. He went on a stretch this season where he'd only won like 3 of his last 10 starts, and his ERA was like sub 1.5. So I don't see how you can penalize this guy just because his only flaw is basically dictated by his whole entire team.
Well, if you go and look at it, the fewest wins by a Cy Young winner is 13 when Felix Hernandez won it in 2010. I mean, they've kind of laid out the blueprint. You've got to at least win double-digit games to win the Cy Young. He can't. I think he will get the
exception though. He's not allowing any runs. Like, a big part of pitcher is the bigger pitcher's job is to put your team in position to win the game.
Yeah,
and DeGrom doing that at an insane level, he just can't continue to win the fucking game.
Yeah, I mean it's been a shitty draw for him, but that's just a factor. It's something that they heavily look at. But you look at Scherzer, who has double the wins, and Nola, who practically has double the wins too. It's going to be kind of hard for him.
So I'm looking actually at the MLB. They have this, ESPN has a stat, it's called the Cy Young Predictor, and it basically takes everything into consideration whenever you break down these guys and see who's your favorites to win the Cy Young. Jacob deGrom is 7th. Betting odds, he's first. But the Cy Young Predictor actually has him below Scherzer and Nola, obviously. But Zach Greinke, Miles Mikolas, John Lester, and Patrick Corbin. So I don't see how that is possible.
It's just because they're on better teams.
Yeah.
Because the team have been playoff. Aaron Nola's going to win the Cy Young Award. Because team's going to make the playoff, better win the division. He has 15 wins already. And his whip is .966. He doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, especially the contact, which is frustrating to watch. But he's so good at it, so frustrating. And earlier Lex brought up WAR, the best stat in the world. And Aaron Nola's WAR is 7.1. I hate that stat, but baseball writers love that stat, and they love wins. And he has a high amount of wins, a high WAR, not any run, 2.1 ERA, and team's good. So I don't know who'll win the NL Cy Young Award.
Man, this is just so tough because, I mean, if you look at this freaking Cy Young Predictor, which apparently it's a pretty accurate stat, for Jacob deGrom to pitch the season that he has and have a 1.6 ERA is absolutely ridiculous.
Who's first in that?
It's actually Max Scherzer, then followed by Nola. He's actually right there with Felipe Vasquez, bullpen guy from the Pirates. And if you try to compare those two seasons, it's not even close. I mean, he has 2 guys that are put above him that have ERAs that are over 3. I mean, his ERA is under half of what John Lester's is, and Lester is 5th, and he's 7th on the list. So, I mean, what else do you want out of a pitcher other than just a great ERA?
Winning games. It matters.
That's unbelievable to me. I don't see how that could be
there.
there.
It's stupid that's such a factor because if you don't have a run, then you can't lose the game. But riders care.
Yeah.
Gotta get the wins.
That's unbelievable. So, guys, we'll talk about another pitcher here, and he's actually scheduled to make his first start in quite some time in the MLB, and it's Shohei Ohtani. This past week, he hit .308 with 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and he's scheduled to pitch 40 to 50 pitches in a game actually today. So that's something that we all need to be tuned in to, checking that out and seeing how he's going to pitch. Guys, what do you think about them actually putting him out there in an MLB game?
I mean, so I've thought about it a lot, and I've been against it the whole time because, basically a ticking time bomb, and he's going to shoot at some point in time. But the doctor said it's healthy enough to play. It's like football. Doctor said you can play, go play. Doctor said you can pitch, go pitch. You get the surgery eventually, you might as well just pitch while you can.
I actually read an article about Otani today by an Angels beat reporter where he said that it's kind of like a test for him to see if he can go out there and pitch comfortably, and if he can, they might kind of roll with it. But if he doesn't, if he goes out there and struggles and it's not comfortable, they're gonna go ahead and give him the surgery. I think you just go ahead and give him the surgery. Why risk it?
Yeah, this is such a tough decision. But if the doctors say that he's okay to go out there and throw, you almost have to do it. And in that same article, they basically come out and say, hey, if he has any problems at all, we're just going to go ahead and shut him down for the season and, go ahead with the surgery. So if he misses any time at all next season because they postponed this thing so long, that is going to be a huge kick in the face to the Angels as an organization, to, more importantly, Mike Trout, in my opinion, because it's just another year that you're basically waiting on this team to get good while you have the best player in baseball, debatably the best player of all time. And it's on. I'm excited to see how he pitches. I hope it goes well. I hope he can avoid surgery. That way we can see Shohei come right out of the gates next year and be completely healthy. We won't try to predict injury or anything. I think we're all just kind of in the same boat that we want to see Shohei healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Because, really, if you'd bet MVP, he could win MVP one day. I think he very well could do that. Because if he pitches like he does and his body does, he gets to lock the MVP.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, if he did what he did, if he never got hurt, and then he did all season, he'd probably be in the MVP race right now.
Oh, absolutely. If he wins double-digit games and hits over 300, he is a deadlock to be an MVP. So we'll go ahead and get to anything more than a fallacy. This is kind of where we just tell you our guys are on pace for this. They can sustain it? Guys are heading towards this number. Do we think that they will be able to accomplish it? And first on the list today, we actually have, and this week we're going to kind of mix it up with some trivia as well. So Christian Yelich put on an absolute performance this past week against the Reds. Went 6 for 6, and he hit for the cycle. How many times has a player went 6 for 6?
It's rare, guys.
Very rare?
Very rare. This goes all the way back to the 1800s, so possibly it's not totally accurate, but this is cool in Baseball Reference, which is the basis for everything baseball. So, we'll go with it.
Well, this is Leighton's favorite number of times, which I read this the other day after I saw it, and heard about it by Tim Kirkchin on the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. 69 times is what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Jake, your guess?
6 for 6. I'm going to say it's close to 50.
It's 71 times.
Well, it's 69 players then is what I read.
Yes. But 71 times.
69 players.
Yeah. Before the show went, I figured out who did it 2 times, and then really up to you guys.
Yeah, because if you've done it twice, that's really impressive.
That's very
kind of
impressive.
insane. Yeah, I'll figure that out.
Has anybody ever went 7 for 7?
I'll figure that out too.
Yeah.
I know when thinking this up, somebody one time back like 1900s, like early 1900s, went a 6 for 11.
That's crazy that you get an 11 at bats. But 6 for 6 is way more impressive than 6 for 11. I mean, duh. That's like obvious. But getting it up to the plate 11 times is unheard of. I just can't wrap my mind around it. And it would obviously come after I'd traded him in my fantasy baseball league. So,
Yelich also, the day before that, I think he had 2 home runs and hit a double in that game too. So he had a 3 extra base hit game, and he comes back and hits for the cycle.
Yeah, that was impressive. And the bad thing is that the Brewers needed every single one of those hits just to beat the Reds.
Yep.
Yes.
So we're going to throw in a bonus question. How many times has a player hit 6 for 6 and also got the cycle in the same game?
Including Yelich.
Including Yelich?
This is extremely rare.
I'm going to go with...
This is probably the rarest thing in baseball.
I'm going to say that this has only happened like 3 times. Because 6 for 6, if you do the math on it, it's probably only happened like once every 2 seasons. So for those guys to actually get into the cycle, I'm going to say that there's only happened 3 times.
It has happened 3 times,
Yeah,
actually.
it is 3 times.
It is 3 times, and the last player to do it
Let's look
was
it up.
2009. He now plays for the Red Sox, Ian Kinsler.
Ian Kinsler was the last guy to do that?
First game of the season. Like, opening game, I think.
Yep.
Wow.
I think I kind of remember that, too, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I did a draft for Fan Baseball after the season started, and some guy took a number 1 overall, and then immediately typed into the Smack Talk box, Ian Kinsler's an animal. And he could hit that season.
Oh, that's definitely not the way you want your season to start off.
Nope.
Ian Kinsler, You think he's going to dial back the clock in the postseason and be able to pull that off for the Red Sox, Leighton?
That'd be really awesome. He hit a home run last night. He's been playing good for us.
Who's the other guy that actually went 6 for 6 with a cycle?
This is
Bobby
a long
Beach
time ago.
in
This is like in
1920.
yeah,
Wow,
a long time ago.
1920.
The only thing that might be more rare than that is, well, it might not be anything if it's only been done 3 times. The only thing to be close is like an unassisted triple play.
Yeah, but I feel like I've seen unassisted triple plays like with my own eyes, and I don't. I just caught the highlights of the Christian Yelich game. Like, I feel like an unassisted triple play is a little more common than that.
Yeah, I feel like it wins about every season.
Yeah, I don't know about every season, but about every other season, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot. But back to your question. 2 players have gone 7 for 7. Cesar Gutierrez in 1970 and Vinny Stinnett 1975. And then Brandon Crawford went 7 for 8.
So let's go to this. Which is more rare, going 6 for 6 or the unassisted triple play?
I would say.
Unassisted triple play.
How many times does that happen?
It's happened 15 times.
Wow.
Really?
Only 15 times. The last time
I
was
feel like
in-
I've been alive for like at least 5 of those.
Yeah, I feel like I have been
You
too.
have been alive for 5 of those.
See, about every other season is what I thought I'd seen it.
But it's only happened 15 times in all of baseball. Last time it happened was Eric Bruntlett of Philadelphia in 2009. Happened in the 9th inning. He ended the game like that.
That's great in the game. That efficiency.
Yeah, that's a good walk-off winner there. So, guys, we'll go ahead and head towards if the season ended right now. And we have pretty similar stuff to what we had talked about last week. The AL East, we obviously have the Red Sox. According to Leighton, they're not the worst team in baseball anymore.
Nope.
In the AL Central, we have the Indians. The AL West, we have the Astros. And your AL wildcard teams are the Yankees and Athletics. Guys, I feel like we're heading towards the final stretch here, and it's almost a guaranteed thing that this is going to be our postseason. Do we see any shakeups whatsoever?
I'm pretty sure this is what it's going to be, but Athletics have been playing great baseball the past week and a half or so, and Mariners are only 2.5 games back, but I think they'll hold on to the last wild card spot, and they can always catch them the Red Sox and attached to the Yankees. So
I feel like I'm banging my head into a brick wall with this AL playoff race because I don't think anything's changed in the past month.
The only thing that's changed in like the past 2 or 3 months was the flip-flop of the Mariners and the Athletics.
And then the Athletics and the Astros just kind of there for like a week. We're kind of changing out first place. Nothing's changing. It's staying the same at this point.
mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's any way that the Athletics are able to catch the Astros?
If they can
back,
beat them,
what, 4.5 games back now?
I thought it was 2.5.
2.5.
2 games back?
2.5 games.
Oh, it's very possible. I mean, yeah, the Astros,
That's a 3-game sweep.
It's a
3-game sweep. Yeah.
They actually don't play again for the rest of the season, but the Astros have a 3-game set against Boston coming up. They also have a 3-game set against the Diamondbacks and the Mariners. So I could see them losing. They could potentially lose all 3 of those series, and the Athletics, as good as they've been playing, could catch them. I don't know if they are, but I think that's the only thing that we could possibly have that's going to get switched up would be it's either going to be the Yankees playing the Athletics or the Yankees playing the Astros, and whichever one it is, I would like to see the Astros and the Yankees playing in the 1-game wild card.
I would love that. That'd be a hell of a wild card game.
Yeah, that would be an awesome wild card game.
And Astros Athletic get them if they want. Blow the series lead, division lead, have that game.
I agree. So we'll go ahead and head to the NL race. In the NL East, we have the Braves. The NL Central, we have the Cubs. The NL West, we have the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers are at a deadlock. And your 2 wild card teams, as of now, come from the NL Central. The Brewers and the Cardinals. Guys, what do we see changing here?
I think the Phillies are going to win the NL East. The Central will be the Cubs. The West, I think, going to be the Dodgers. Still, they're going to play enough to pull that out, and the wild card team will be the Braves and the Cardinals.
I think that the Braves are going to just go ahead and win that division, and I think the wild card is going to stay the same. And I don't have very much faith in the Dodgers. The way they've been playing lately, they've won a couple games here. I've got more faith in the Diamondbacks going forward than the Dodgers.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on the Diamondbacks.
I mean, we've been saying that for the past 3 weeks that we believe way more in the Diamondbacks than we do the Dodgers.
Yeah, I feel like the Dodgers are obviously in a bad spot. If they're taking one of their better pitchers in Kenta Maeda,